Normally, to beat a great quarterback like a Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Aaron Rodgers, you want to run the ball, maintain possession, drain the clock, and keep those guys on the sidelines. Well, that's just simply not going to happen under Chip Kelly. Oh, and it's going to be cold at Lambeau on Sunday. Mark, you better put those rainbow sandals away. Mike Owens is here. I'm Adrian Fedq. It's going to be a big one. Big matchup on Sunday.
It's a huge one here on Sunday for the Eagles, and it's a big test for Mark Sanchez, the Sanchez. He's been getting a lot of press here in the national media after his performance against the bad Carolina Panthers team on Monday Night Football. But now he's got one hell of a test set up for him at Lambeau Field, a place that he has actually never played at. So this is going to be something that Mark Sanchez can cross off his bucket list. Now, I don't think he's going to come away with the victory, but we're sure hoping that he can pull out a miracle.
Yeah, that's for sure. This is going to be the start of a tough 5-game stretch for the Eagles. You've got, games at Green Bay, against Seattle at home, and 2 games against Dallas. So this is really going to show and test the Eagles and see how just damn good this team really is.
It's a brutal stretch here that the Eagles are getting into. And, with Mark Sanchez at quarterback, there's still some questions as to if this team can succeed with him, back there on their centers. So, like we were saying, this game against the Packers will be, just the start of it. The start of, a big series of tests for Sanchez and the Eagles. And they did themselves a favor by jumping out to a 7-2 record here going into this stretch. That's really going to be key, because unless they totally fall apart, it's looking like they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's for sure. The thing I wanted to start this show out with is how good the Eagles have been in the red zone with Mark Sanchez under center now. Kind of the same thing happened last year with Michael Vick. Last year, Vick started 5 of 14 in touchdown percentage in the red zone, and Foles came in there. He threw 1 touchdown after another. This season, Foles started 8 of 23 in touchdown red zone percentage. And since Sanchez has taken over, the Eagles are now remarkably 7 of 7 in the red zone. This is remarkable, unbelievable now. Marky Mark has, turned the corner for the Eagles.
Yeah, well, a few weeks ago, we were pressing the panic button when we were in the red zone because we just couldn't do anything. But now, with Mark Sanchez in there, it seems like that they've found some kind of rhythm. And it's, kind of ironic because, you talked a few weeks ago about how the Eagles need to start getting Jordan Matthews involved more in the red zone. Well, there you go. You got your wish, and it's working right now. So I think you're going to have to see a lot more Jordan Matthews, which obviously they're going to do with Sanchez. Maybe, a little bit of Ertz and a little bit of McCoy and Sproles with that Polk down there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously things in the red zone, they speed up, they close in. You have to be more decisive and more accurate. And that's simply something, Foles wasn't doing earlier on in the year. His confidence seemed a little cracked. And now with, guys back on the offensive line, the quarterbacks, well, Sanchez, he's been getting better protection. And, like you just referenced, they've been getting Matthews involved. I love him, going over the middle inside the red zone, fighting his way into the end zone. And they've really turned a corner here, and hopefully they can just keep it going, because obviously you're going to have to go score for score with the Packers. I mean, they're going to be, a lot of touchdowns galore for them. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has been the best quarterback in the NFL this season, in my opinion. So, you're going to have to match them score for score, and that means scoring touchdowns in the red zone, not settling for 3 points.
Yeah, well, like you were talking about in the beginning of the show, this isn't going to be a game where the Eagles are going to try to, slow down the pace. This is going to be a game where the Eagles, they play their typical, fast tempo offense, and they're going to go fast, and they're going to try to go score for score with the Packers. And I mean, hopefully they can do it. It's going to be exciting, that's for sure. If you, you like offense, this is a game to watch because, both of the defenses really aren't that great. So, but the offenses, there's a lot of weapons on both sides. So it's going to be a high scoring affair.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers has been unbelievable at home this season. 4-0, 140.1 passer rating, completing like 68.5% of his passes, 15 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's been unreal, and obviously in Green Bay, Lambeau is going to be a little colder, so we'll see what happens. I mean, he's going to be flinging the ball around. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, maybe before the game starts, we can have Foles go out there and give Rodgers a nice handshake, and maybe transfer some of the broken bones in his clavicle over to Rodgers, and maybe Barwin can give Rodgers a nice hit, and hey, what do you know? We'll knock Rodgers out of the game. But the problem is knocking Rodgers out of the game, get rid of the ball pretty fast. So getting to him and taking him down is going to be the key.
Yeah, and you know what? This Green Bay Packers offensive line, it's not great. It can be had. It's just the thing about Rodgers, he's so damn quick in the pocket. He moves side to side well. He can escape when he can flush and escape and, throw well on the run. So, it's really like almost like a lose-lose situation. Do you blitz and let him carve you up, or do you play in coverage, let him have time and pick you apart that way? There's really not any way to stop him. You just got to hope to contain him.
Yeah, and then this might be a game where the Eagles decide that they're going to bring a lot of blitzes and they're going to take their chances. He's probably going to beat you with some long balls, but the Eagles probably just got to deal with that, and they're just going to have to go score a score with them. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, this Eagles defense, tremendous test that they have coming up with Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, the secondary, especially our cornerbacks, have really been really the biggest weakness of this team lately. So they're going to have to really step up their play because if they're not ready for this one, then the Eagles could be in for a long day.
Yeah, obviously the Packers have a great duo in Randall Cobb and Jordy Nelson. And Nelson's been the guy that's really stepped up this season, really taking that next leap into the elite level of wide receivers. I mean, this guy's deceptively strong. He's got good footwork. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's just always open. And they're going to match him up against Kerry Williams a lot, I'm sure. Williams has been getting beat bad this season. It's going to be cold in Lambeau, but he's still going to have to put that suntan lotion on because he's going to get burned. And I mean, on the other side, I will say this about Bradley Fletcher. I really think he stepped up his game in the last, few. He was really struggling early on in the year, giving up a lot of long plays, but I think he's improved. But Kerry, I'm concerned about. I'm really concerned about that.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing with the Eagles cornerbacks this year is they've actually been in position to make a lot of plays. The problem is they just haven't been making them because they're not locating the ball. So I think that last week was actually a good start in the right direction as far as that goes, because especially Fletcher, they did a really nice job of starting to locate the football. Now, if they can continue to do that, that would really help out going down the stretch run here, because the Eagles definitely need improved play from their secondary if they want to win big games like this against a team like the Packers.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially, say the pressure doesn't get to the quarterback, they're not going to be able to hide those deficiencies. Obviously, the last couple games, there's 17 sacks in the last two home games. Obviously, you're on the road here, but they've been getting so much pressure on the quarterback. That's allowed it. It's allowed the corners to play a little bit freer. It's been a little easier for them. But we'll see. We'll see Sunday, because Rodgers, he gets the ball out lightning quick. He always makes quick decisions. So I mean, we'll find out Sunday. I mean, I don't really know how much pressure they're going to get on Rodgers, but it's at the same time, I think some of these guys on this line can be had. I mean, Trent Cole should be able to feast on David Bakhtiari, their left tackle, pretty much all game. Brian Bulaga, I mean, he's the better of the two tackles. He's the right tackle, but he's not anything special or anything. I think Connor Barwin should be able to take advantage of that matchup. The one guy that I think is pretty good on their line is their left guard, Josh Sitton. But other than that, man, this line can be had. It's just, you got to get to Rodgers because he's lightning quick with his release.
Yeah, and the problem the Eagles are going to have is last week the Eagles only had to worry about one wide receiver and Kelvin Benjamin. Well, this week they've got two pretty solid wide receivers. One really a star in Nelson that they're going to have to take care of. So they're not going to be able to focus all their attention on one guy. There's multiple guys that the Packers can beat you with. So it's really going to be interesting to see how the secondary, fares against those guys, especially when Rodgers has time to throw the football. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But Kyrie Williams is the guy that I'm looking at because I feel like he's kind of the guy that really hasn't done much this year. We've seen, flashes from, Bradley Fletcher. Obviously, Boykin he's usually solid. But, yeah, Kyrie Williams is a guy that just not impressive.
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, I think there's no denying. We both know he's going to be gone at the end of the year. But in the meantime, we're stuck with him, and he's still starting. So, hopefully just bless ourselves, pray a little bit, and just hope everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, that's really all we can do with Kyrie at this point.
Yeah. All right, moving on a little bit. Eddie Lacy, running back for the Green Bay Packers. He's only topped the 100-yard rushing mark once this season. The thing I'm more concerned about with him is him out of the backfield. He's been doing a great job on his screen the last couple of weeks. Especially last week, if you saw that one play, that I think it was like a 60-yard touchdown or something. But the Eagles this season haven't been doing well against opposing running backs. Arian Foster, I remember that play he burned Barwin on. That Ellington burned, I forget who it was, but he burned someone on a touchdown. So opposing running backs are doing really well against our defense, and stopping Lacy is going to be key.
Yeah, well, the thing about Lacy is, this guy's like a bulldozer.
Yeah.
I mean, he can run you over. So that could be, that could cause some problems. The key here is the Eagles are going to have to stop him at the line of scrimmage because he's the type of guy that even if you stop at the line of scrimmage, he's still going to get 2 or 3 yards. So that's going to be really key because, if he starts getting gains of, 3 or 4 yards, that's really going to turn into, 7 or 8. So it's going to be key for them to really handle him because they've really got to get the Packers in some third and long situations. If the Packers are in third and short situations, then it's not going to be good news for the Eagles.
Yeah, this guy, I seriously can't think of a guy that breaks more tackles than him. I can't think of anybody, and I'm talking like the last couple of years. I really can't think of anybody. This guy just literally, like you said, he bulldozes through people. Forget about arm tackling him. I mean, you have to swarm gang tackle him to get him down. He's just extraordinary. Now, obviously, this year he's not doing as well as last year, but it's the offensive line. Their offensive line isn't very good in the run game. Just not getting many holes for him to run through. But he's the kind of guy he can make something out of nothing simply because he carries a guy on his back for 5 yards.
Yeah, I mean the numbers are something that you really can't look at this year because you can look at McCoy and McCoy's numbers haven't been the same pretty much for similar reasons because of the offensive line. The Eagles had a banged up offensive line for a while, so hasn't been able to do much. And another factor is teams really stacking the line to play against the run. So yeah, the numbers really don't tell the whole story sometimes, for a player. So especially in a situation here with Lacy and McCoy. So I really feel that the Eagles aren't aware of Lacy that he could have a big game. So they got to shut him down and try to contain Rodgers as best as they can.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you look at the numbers the last couple of weeks, Lacey is doing better in a fantasy perspective. He's still not running the ball really well, but they've, learned to get him out use him in the screen game, utilize him that way. So they're utilizing him in different ways now. Now let's move on to the Eagles' running attack. The Packers they rank 30th in the NFL stopping the run. They've gotten so desperate that they've moved Clay Matthews inside inside linebacker. He doesn't like it very much, but he's doing a lot better than Brad Jones and AJ Hawk did. Those guys are just doing nothing. So they're struggling stopping the run. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm sure they're going to stack the box to stop McCoy. But I mean, if there's a game he's going to have to get going, it's this one.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's going to be very interesting to see what the Packers' game plan is because really, for most of the season, a lot of teams have been stacking the box against the Eagles, shutting down McCoy, forcing the Eagles to pass the ball. Now, the Eagles are 7-2, so far it's working out for the Eagles because they've been able to beat these teams through the air. So we'll see if the Packers back up a little bit. Now, I don't know if I would necessarily do that because the one game where the Eagles had a lot of success on the ground was the game against the Giants. A primetime game, and McCoy just went off because the Giants weren't stacking the box. So, yeah, it's probably going to be a game where the Packers are going to stack the box, but McCoy's going to have to beat it this game because he needs to get going.
Yeah, I mean, that Giants game, it's the only game this year where a team hasn't stacked the box against McCoy. The Giants are just too stubborn to do it. So that's basically what that was all about. And obviously he went off that game. Again, the offensive line's intact. It's healthy besides Todd Herremans. So you got Mathis and Kelsey back now. We'll see what happens. I mean, I think McCoy's going to be fine on Sunday. I expect him to get over 100 yards at least. I want to see Polk get some touches. I want to see Sproles get some touches. I really want them to pound this rock. I want them to pound it out of the gate. I think this is how you're going to beat this Packers team because, their pass coverage is really good. They're ninth against the pass. They got some good corners there. Jamal Williams, Sam Shields, another guy, Casey Hayward. They've got some corners they can throw at you. So I think running the ball is going to be key. I mean, obviously you're not going to try to limit and drain the possession in that way, but I think it'll be important that at least when you run the ball with McCoy, you do drain some more clock than when you pass it.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to have to establish the running game early on in this one, and I feel like if they can do that, it's going to open up the passing game a little bit, and they can go to their usual targets there. And another guy that could have a decent game, maybe down by the goal line, could be a guy like Polk, a bigger back that they could get involved here. So I think that you're really going to continue to see this three-headed monster that they've kind of developed, with McCoy, Sproles, and Polk. And I feel like if they, keep all those guys fresh, that they could have a big game against this pretty bad Packers run defense.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. We'll see what Sanchez has for an encore. We'll talk about him now. 20 of 37 on Monday night. We'll see. I want to see him hit those screen passes a little bit better. Don't be throwing them over, guys. It's going to be important because you kind of have to get as many yards as possible against this Packers team. You can't make those mistakes. Against this team. You can do it against the Panthers. I mean, obviously they won 45-21, but got to make those easy completions. I expect Jordan Matthews to have another big game because that connection's been on fire. Doing that, making a lot of completions there. But the big key in this game is gonna be that red zone. We referenced about it earlier. We'll talk more about it now. Jordan Matthews has been the man inside the 20.
Yeah, and can Jordan Matthews continue to be the man inside the 20? And he can be if they continue to run those crossing routes over the middle, get him in open space. That's really what you got to do with him, and Chip Kelly is great at doing that. So I think they've kind of found something here in Jordan Matthews to kind of cure the red zone woes. And the thing with Sanchez is he did a good job against the Panthers, but I kind of feel like the national media here is they're drinking the Mark Sanchez Kool-Aid a little bit too much, I think. He did a good job, but I think a lot of that has to be attributed to the Chip Kelly, because if you go back and you look at that game, you watch the highlights. Guys were running pretty wide open. He made some nice throws, but at the same time, Chip Kelly's offense is predicated on getting guys open in space.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I was saying on our show yesterday, he didn't wow me with anything, didn't wow me with any throws. He was just doing what he was supposed to do. And we talked about it last year even with Foles. I mean, it's kind of what happened last year too. He kept throwing all these touchdowns, but he didn't wow us or anything. We just saw guys running wide open and wide open free. Most quarterbacks should be able to make that throw, except maybe Blaine Gabbert, Matt Barkley, guys like that. But guys are running free. The system's making the quarterback. Now, I will say this, because I do think they're running with Sanchez under center, and Sanchez is making quicker reads, quicker decisions. Again, I think the offensive line is helping him in the aspect of making quicker decisions, but they really are moving at a faster tempo with Sanchez under center.
Oh, well, yeah, the tempo has definitely picked up with Sanchez under center. Now, he's a veteran quarterback, so I guess he reads a defense faster than Foles. So that's a good thing. But I read this interesting article here on SI.com. It's part of their Monday morning quarterback section, and it was written by this female. Haven't even heard of her, but she wrote this pretty decent article, and it was about Sanchez and his whole recovery from his shoulder injury and his journey back here into the NFL and how he got with the Eagles, and it talks about him getting used to the up-tempo offense that the Eagles run, and it talks how he wore this elevation mask, and it restricted his breathing during drills. It forced him to take deeper and more controlled breaths. Another thing that he did was he wore these resistance bands to his feet so he could enhance his agility and quickness in the pocket. And another thing that he did was he started doing yoga 3 times a week. So it's a very interesting read if you get a chance to go on SI.com and read that. So definitely an interesting piece on Sanchez and kind of how he's really revitalized himself.
Yeah, really interesting read. He also had someone that told him to get rid of the hair, get rid of the facial hair, start fresh, basically. Really interesting read there. And speaking of the resistance bands, I think they're definitely helping because, Sanchez hasn't been pressured much, but when he has been pressured, he's sidestepping well. He's showing that agility in the pocket. Now I had a tweet yesterday. Let's see if I can find it right here. Sanchez is thriving under the blitz right now. He's I believe his passer rating. Let me pull it up temporarily here. His passer rating against the blitz is 130.8, and his quarterback rating is only 73.1 when he's not being blitzed. So bring on the blitz, Green Bay. He's just going to continue picking you apart.
Yeah, that's one thing that I have noticed with Sanchez is he's been, really good in the pocket. Pocket presence, stepping up in the pocket has really been key. He did a lot of that against the Panthers, and it worked out pretty well for him because it bought him some extra time. So that's a thing with Sanchez in there. you really get the mobility aspect that you didn't have with Foles in there.
Yeah, Foles had some really slow feet. He's got some of the slowest feet in the NFL. And Sanchez, his feet are a lot quicker. You could see it in the pocket and, even escaping it. So, yeah, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying it, but Sanchez, he's playing better. He was playing better than Foles right now. It's funny because I've been withholding judgment on Foles because, I think you got to give him at least until next year to figure out what you have in him. Now it's like, all right, so if Sanchez plays well during the rest of the season, I have no idea what's going to happen. Now, I would think that Sanchez is going to be gone because if he plays well, some other team's going to come calling and want him to be their starter. But what are the Eagles going to do? Who the hell knows?
Yeah, I mean, that really depends on how much Sanchez falls in love with Philadelphia. I mean, if he likes the situation that he's in, he may stay. And if he plays well enough, takes the Eagles deep in the playoffs, the Eagles might decide that they roll with Sanchez next year. They keep Foles on that rookie deal still, and they end up drafting a quarterback.
Cool. Well, I would like them to get Barkley out of town. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, that'll happen next year, where they're going to draft a quarterback and he'll be gone.
Yeah. We'll move on to something else. That's something a topic for a later discussion. Right now we're in the middle of the season. We kind of, just enjoy the ride. Just enjoy the ride. Now, this is where I want to talk about the rest of the NFC because this conference is wide open. It's wide open like fat bastard's stomach. Any team can win this conference right now. I mean, I don't see any dominant team. I have not seen this much parity in an NFL in a long, long time. There's only like one dominant team to me in the NFL, and that's the Denver Broncos. That's it. But the NFC, I mean, you have Seattle, you have San Francisco, you got New Orleans. Well, New Orleans 4 and 5. You have all these teams. Dallas, you have Arizona, you have Detroit, Philly. All these teams are just cluttered together, and this is where the Eagles are going to have to make their mark because, 4 of their next 5 games. Seattle, Green Bay, Dallas twice. It's time to make a statement.
Yeah, well, this would be a big statement game, and you're saying, the NFC is so wide open. Anything can really happen. Every team that's going to make the playoffs in the NFC has a weakness. So very wide open. But you go into this game now, and this is a type of game. And this is going to be like a lot of their games down the stretch here where it's going to matter for playoff seeding probably because you're going to figure that, the Packers are definitely going to have a shot at winning their division there with the Lions. So, yeah, this could really be a game where we end up with the same record as the Packers at the end of the year, but it'll come down to the tiebreaker.
Yeah. I'm looking at 11 and 5 right now, just from like kind of looking at everything. The one wild card is Arizona. Who the hell knows what's going to happen with them? I mean, Carson Palmer now out for the rest of the season, so who knows? I mean, they're 8 and 1. They played Detroit this week, so that'll be an interesting matchup. Seattle. I mean, it seems like they're playing better football right now. They might get to like 11 wins. You're going to have the Packers probably get to 11 wins. You'll have the Eagles get to 11 wins. All these teams, 12 and 4 is probably going to be your number 1 seed. But who the hell gets to 12 and 4? Who knows? I mean, it's crazy right now. Shenanigans.
Yeah, it's a mystery. And like you said, Cardinals are really that team that you just don't know what's going to happen. I wouldn't be so fast to rule them out, even though that they don't have Palmer because they still have a pretty great defense there. So you really can't rule them out. I mean, they're going to be there. So I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl, but I think that they're still going to be a tough team to contend with. But I think that the playoffs and the NFC, it's going to be crazy, but it's going to be fun.
I'll tell you what. I love if Arizona gets that 2 seed and we get a 3 seed. Travel to Arizona for a little divisional game. I'd take a little rematch. I would take that in a heartbeat. I think we win the second time around.
Yeah, well, the crazy part about this is that the Super Bowl is there in
Yeah.
Glendale this year. So, the Cardinals are, trying to be, that first team to win the Super Bowl in their own stadium. But I doubt that's going to happen. But it's just, kind of ironic that a team could end up having to go through, Glendale, Arizona to get to the Super Bowl and then end up playing there again in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. No team obviously has ever, home team has ever played in the Super Bowl. So this is about as good of a chance as any as it happening. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean Arizona, man, Arizona. I'm still not even like 100% convinced they're going to win the division. I still think Seattle's going to catch them. Um, I don't know about San Francisco anymore. I mean that Patrick Willis injury is huge for them, but it's going to be interesting. I mean it's as wide open as I've ever seen. I mean the one seed is going to be right on par with the sixth seed. I mean it's a mess. It really is. But yeah, I mean I guess we could get into predictions now. Actually, there is one more thing I wanted to talk about because in dime packages right now, Nolan Carroll is playing linebacker, and that's really interesting to me. How that they're playing him at that position. Obviously, this is going to be another game for Casey Matthews, as starting for D'Amico Ryans. I hope he's going to be able to make the tackle on Lacey when he's barreling through in the hole. Maybe he's hopefully going to be able to stop him. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up real quick.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. Um, but as far as predictions go, I mean, this is a tough one for the Eagles. I don't think they're gonna do it. I think they're gonna lose. Like, I'll go 34-24. I think they fall, but yeah, just going to Green Bay, never easy. Rodgers is on fire right now. I think a lot of things would have to go right for the Eagles to win this game. They would really have to go in there and play an all around game, just like they did against the Panthers, to pull out a victory. I think they're going to need one or two turnovers from their defense. They might even need a return touchdown from Sproles on special teams.
Yeah, I think that's how you're going to win this game if it happens. Is you get a special teams touchdown, whether it's a block punt, whether it's a Sproles touchdown or a kickoff return. I think that's like really the way you got to win. I got 38-30 Green Bay. I think it's a game where the Eagles will just kind of be down 7 to 10 points throughout, and they're just never going to be able to get over the hump. So I think that the Packers are going to score more touchdowns. We're going to kick more field goals, and I think that's how they're going to win. So that's what I got. So unfortunately, we got an Eagles loss, but I mean, don't get down if the Eagles lose. I mean, this isn't one that they're probably going to win. I mean, they're 7-point underdogs on the road in Green Bay, Lambeau Field, and the Packers are going to be wearing those hideous blue and yellow uniforms with the blue, and then you got the stupid circle that's yellow. I guess that they're like 1930s uniforms. So those things are hideous. There's some really bad uniforms, and those are pretty much up there. Those and those Broncos ones. The brown and the I guess yellow that they had.
Yeah, those, and then you got the Steelers and their bumblebee suit.
Yeah, the bumblebee.
And
And
then you have
even the Eagles, the yellow and the light blue, Ukrainian colors.
yeah, that was Kevin Curtis's favorite uniform.
That's true. We got like 250 yards of that uniform.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be tough looking at the Packers in those damn uniforms, but hopefully we can overcome that.
Yeah, seriously. All right, so let's make our picks for the rest of the week. God damn it, where's my thing? All right, here it is. All right, here's my little booklet with the schedule.
I think I went undefeated last week.
Did you?
No, I don't know.
Oh, I have completely lost track of our records. Yeah, I said we're going to keep track this year. I stopped after week 3, so it never happens. It just doesn't. We're probably tied. We'll just say that we're tied this year.
We're tied. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we're both going to have to owe each other a Pizza Hut pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
All
What are you
right.
gonna
So
do?
so the game tonight, Thursday night game, Buffalo at Miami. Kind of a shitty game, but yeah, I'll take Miami at home there. Um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I guess I'm swimming with the Dolphins too. Yeah, this really isn't a pretty game. It's kind of like a battle of two teams that have been very inconsistent. So we'll see what happens. But uh, yeah, I wouldn't expect an exciting one. Probably be another boring Thursday night game.
yeah, yeah. All right. First games on the slate Sunday. Minnesota at Chicago. The Bears obviously are struggling, but so are the Vikings. And I would think after being, shellacked by the Packers, by the Patriots recently, that as a Bears player, you're gonna have some pride in this one, and I would think that you're gonna come out and win this one. I would think. So I got Chicago in this one.
Yeah, well, if the Bears have any sense of pride, they'll win this game, and it shouldn't really be too much of a challenge, even though that they suck. They're playing a bad Vikings team, so yeah, I think that they should win that one.
Houston at the first place Cleveland Browns. How about that? Yeah.
It
So, yeah, Browns, baby.
sounds weird. I can't believe it. First place Browns.
Yeah, this late in the season, it's extraordinary. Brian Hoyer doing a great job. Who knows what's going to happen with Johnny Football this coming off season? I mean, who knows? Defense playing well. I'm going to take the Browns at home. I don't think the Texans are very good.
Yeah, I've got to go with the Browns while Johnny Football remains on the sideline fondling his balls.
Oh, Atlanta at Carolina. These are two teams heading in opposite directions. I mean, both teams are still right in the thick of it in the NFC South. I mean, it's amazing that the Falcons are 3-6 and they're only a game behind. I Carolina looks like they've kind of mailed it into me. I mean, I don't like what I'm seeing out of Cam Newton, so I'm going to take the Falcons on the road in this one.
Yeah, Falcons on the road. I think that this loss on Monday night to the Eagles was devastating for the Panthers. I think that was a season ender for them. And like you said, they're mailing it in. Their season's over. Uh, you know, Falcons. I think they do it.
Yeah. All right, Tampa Bay at Washington. Let's just get the Chris C game out of the way. I'll take Washington at home.
Yeah, Washington.
God, people have no idea what we're talking about. The Chris C game. Um, Cincinnati at New Orleans. This should be a good one. Bengals obviously coming off that Thursday night, debacle against the Browns. New Orleans coming off a loss, against the Niners in overtime. I expect the Saints to bounce back. I know the Bengals started 2-0, 3-0, but I wasn't really that high on them this year. I think the loss to Michael Johnson on that D line was huge. Defense is just not as good this year as they've been in the past few seasons. Andy Dalton, the ginger, I think he sucks. So I'm going with the Saints.
Yeah, the Bengals' roar is larger than their bite right now. So it's going to have to be the Saints, and they're getting ready to make that playoff push. The Drew Brees is back and ready to go. So it's time for those Saints to make their run.
Denver at St. Louis. St. Louis, the Rams are going back to Sean Hill as their quarterback. I don't really understand that one at all, but I mean, whatever. I didn't think Davis was playing that bad. I mean, he did throw a couple picks in the fourth quarter last week, but I thought he was playing fairly well. But you're not going to beat Denver at home here. It's just not going to happen. Peyton Manning all day, Broncos.
Now, this is kind of something that baffles me throughout the league when teams make these switches with quarterbacks and go back and forth. Just if you're going to make a switch, then you really got to stick with that guy for the rest of the way. It's almost like the Redskins. RG3 gets hurt, they go with Kirk Cousins, and he actually played pretty well, early on, and then he struggled, but then they go and they decide that they're going to bench him and go with McCoy. And I just feel like it's horrible for team chemistry. And like you were saying, I felt like, yeah, I kind of agree with you. I didn't think Davis was playing that bad. He actually did pretty well, so kind of shocking. Yeah, Broncos.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else. Man, we've agreed on everything. Of course we did. San Francisco at the Giants. Giants are kind of a mess right now. I think the Niners are kind of taking that next step a little bit, playing a little bit better, starting to get on that streak that I was talking about before the year. I expected them to go 4-4 to start the first 8 games, and I thought they would kind of get better in the second half. So yeah, I got the Niners on the road at MetLife.
I'm strictly rooting against the 49ers the rest of the way because I do not want to see them in the playoffs because I feel like they would be a scary team to face. So I'm going with the Giants. Tom Coughlin will go on a mad rampage during the game, and he will kill Jim Harbaugh.
Oh boy, speaking of, I agree with you about the Niners. That could be like a potential 3-6 matchup, and that's not something I want to see.
No, we do not want that at all. So we do not need the 49ers to sneak into the playoffs because that would not be favorable for us. That we did not match up well at all against the Niners.
Yeah, I agree. All right, this is a good 1 o'clock game. Seattle at Kansas City. I believe the Chiefs have won like 4 in a row, something like that. Playing really good football right now under Andy Reid, but the Seahawks are playing good as well. So really intriguing matchup here. I'm going to go with the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I think they're going to win this one.
Yeah, shockingly, we agree on this too. I think that Andy Reid has recovered. I don't know what was wrong with him early in the season. He must have, had some injuries that was preventing him from eating all the barbecue down there in Kansas City. But they've figured out a new recipe for him, and he seems to like it. So, yeah, the Chiefs are on fire, and Big Red is happy. So the Chiefs win, and good news for us.
Yeah. All right, Oakland at San Diego. Chargers.
Yeah, the Raiders should just forfeit and start playing in the CFL.
Detroit at Arizona. This is a really good matchup here, intriguing as hell. Especially with the Drew Stanton storyline here. But I'm going to say the Cardinals win this one at home. They've been finding ways to win at home all year long. Detroit, they've been like the cardiac cats this year. They've been winning a lot of games late. So it should be a good one. I like the Cardinals.
Yeah, Detroit's a team that really pisses me off because they freaking come back all the time. I don't know how the hell they do it. It seems like they're done, the game is over, and then suddenly they pull off this, miraculous comeback. Everything goes their way, and they win the game. It's happened way too many times this season for my liking. I don't, I really don't mind the Cardinals, and I think that the Cardinals, can continue to win at home. They're still undefeated at home this season, playing really well there. So, yeah, I don't know if the Lions are ready to head into the desert with all the rattlesnakes.
Yeah, I'm looking at Arizona's upcoming schedule. Actually, they've got some tough games coming up. You got you got Arizona at Seattle next week. Then they go to Atlanta. Then they play Kansas City at home. And let's see, at St. Louis on a Thursday night. Then they play, let's see, Seattle again at home in Week 16. And then at San Francisco Week 17. Oh, boy. They're not going to win the division.
No, they'll still win the division somehow.
It's not going to happen. Actually, I hope to God that they do because it's a good matchup for us. I want to play
Yeah.
them. Give me the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, I did see that though. That's a very brutal stretch though. They really could have used Carson Palmer for that. So, I don't know if Stanton is the answer there. So, we'll see how he fares, but he's gonna have to play pretty decent for them to continue to win.
Yeah. All right. New England at Indianapolis Sunday night game. Extraordinary Sunday night game. Luck against Tom Brady. This is one of those chances Luck gets to have to showcase how get into that elite level. Hopefully for his sake. I like the Patriots on the road here. I don't think the Colts are ready for this to play the Patriots. I just don't think they're ready for. They're not up there with the Patriots yet. Even though they got to go on the road, I like the Patriots here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would say the same thing, and I would think that if they do end up meeting in the playoffs, I think that the Colts could get some revenge. So I like the Patriots in this one, but I like the Colts if they meet again.
All right, the Monday night game is real shitty. Pittsburgh at Tennessee. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, nah. I'll take the Steelers.
Jesus, that's a horrible Monday night game.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck they're trying to do there. I don't know. Yeah, my surprise pick was not the Tennessee Titans. I don't know who would have done that. Who knows? Maybe they'll get lucky and they'll pull a miracle, but no, they're not going to. The Steelers will dominate. They should dominate at least. Although, talking about the Steelers, did they throw up a stinker last week or what?
Yeah. A huge stinker. I mean, that was one of those, Brian Wright stinkers that he serves up in the newsroom when he downs a primo hoagie.
It really was. It smelled pretty bad. I was shocked honestly by that one. Um, I mean, not really by the fact that they lost. I mean, it was a surprising loss, but I could see it because the Jets were at home. But just the way that they played horrible, and they really just got manhandled.
Yeah, it's the Steelers have been taking these strides offensively. Obviously, Roethlisberger set the NFL record for most touchdowns in a two-game span. He had 12 of them. They're finding a number two receiver. Marcus Wheaton really wasn't that guy. So they've kind of turned to Martavis Bryant, a rookie, I believe out of Ole Miss. I'm not 100% sure on that, but he's really played well this season. And they were taking that next step, and then they just threw a clunker in that one, and that's a bad Jets secondary. And Roethlisberger just didn't come to play at all.
Well, you know who did come to play was your Temple boy
Oh yeah,
and former Eagle, Jaquan Jarrett.
fight for the cherry and the white. It's fitting that I'm wearing a cherry shirt tonight. Okay.
It really is, yeah. But probably the best game of Jarrett's career.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, he got AFC Defensive Weekly honors.
How about that?
In the NFL.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was definitely surprising though with that Steelers offense because you're right. I mean, they really took it to a new level with Roethlisberger, 6 TDs in 2 straight games. But boy, yeah, big drop off, dramatic. Now, if they lose to the Titans, there might be a riot in Pittsburgh.
You don't know with Pittsburgh this year though. It's like they lost to Tampa Bay at home. They have some of these weird games this year. But I want to get back to Jarrett because it's funny. When he came out of college, I loved him at Temple. I thought he was, a big hitter. I thought he was definitely going to be an NFL draft pick. Never could I have imagined that he was going to be a second-round pick. I never thought he was going to be like a hitter, but second round, that really shocked me. And well, it turned out he wasn't too great for us.
Yeah, that was a idiotic second round pick for us. We could have got him much later, but I don't know why we took him there. But yeah, and I guess it just wasn't a good fit for him here because I mean, not that I see too many Jets games, but the ones that I do, it seems like he actually does a pretty decent job. So it might be a better fit him there with the Jets.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he has been playing better with the Jets. I believe he was playing there last year too. So, you know, playing a lot better than he was in Philly, obviously. So, yeah. I mean, that's that. That's our picks. That's our games. I don't know what else to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered just about everything.
All right. So this might be final thoughts time then. Mike, you're on the hot seat.
Well, if the Eagles are able to go into Lambeau Field and beat the Packers, then there will be a lot of fans in Philadelphia lining up on the Art Museum steps because Sanchez will return to Philadelphia and he will lay down a slip and slide on the Art Museum steps. And he will do a big belly dive down this slip and slide, and everybody in Philadelphia will chant for the Sanchez. This guy loves the spotlight, so I hope Philadelphia is ready for it. Even if he's losing, he's gonna want the spotlight. And after his performance, against the Panthers, his confidence is pretty high right now. So Mr. Sanchez, he wants that spotlight, and right now he has it.
Now, let's say the Eagles do win. What does he have for an encore as a victory treat? Does he go with a bratwurst?
Yeah, I mean, you would think so. Or will he do a Lambeau leap?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I can't wait for Sunday. I'm really psyched about this stretch coming up. We're really going to see how good this team really is. So, yeah, I'm really pumped.
Yeah, if he does a Lambeau leap, someone will probably give him a pat on the butt.
Yeah. Really. Oh man. All right. With that being said, that's Mike Owens. I'm Adrian Fedque. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at the Bitter Birds. That's it for today. Later all. Go Birds, baby.
Go Birds.
Boom.